who are the players that you want the Lakers to start targeting? Because December 15th just passed, which means now about 80-ish% of the players who signed this offseason as free agents are now eligible to be traded. We saw Dennis Schroeder get moved to the Warriors and Thomas Bryant get moved to the Pacers. The Lakers have obviously been linked to a lot of names around the league because of the Lakers, and that is what happens. Ben in Rancho Santa Margarita, you're on Lakers Talk. What's up, Ben?
Hey, you just mentioned the Pacers. Myles Turner is a name that's been brought up a lot in the past with the Lakers. Yeah. I don't know enough about them to know if he's even available, but you got size, you got scoring, and you got defense. What do you think?
Okay, were he available, Myles Turner is somebody that I would definitely go after, and I would be willing to at least theoretically open up the entire bag, like both of their first-round picks. Like you may recall a couple seasons ago when the Lakers were very openly looking to find a deal for Russell Westbrook, there have been a lot of reporting that the Lakers could have potentially gotten both Myles Turner and Buddy Hield had they been willing to give up 2 firsts for those guys. At the time, you could go back and listen to old Locked on Lakers podcasts if you want the receipts. I was like, do this. You will never get anybody better for Russell Westbrook. And, I mean, Myles Turner, I think, is probably the best player that has been linked to the Lakers at all over the last couple of years.
He's got an expiring contract. He only makes $19 million.
Yeah, it's an interesting question. I mean, I think he and AD would play great with each other. It's really a question of what Indiana wants to do moving forward because they had a season last year that was better than expected. Remember, they went all the way to the IST, then IST, now NBA Cup Finals, lost to the Lakers. It has since been a very disappointing season for them. They're a few games below 500 now. I don't know if Myles Turner is young enough that if they still want to move forward with him, trying to rebuild or build forward, maybe a different path with Tyrese Halliburton, some of the younger guys, Turner is theoretically young enough to do that. That being said, man, he's also at just old enough that you're like, is he too old? Like he's at an interesting age depending on how far the Pacers are, DeAndre, from feeling like they're doing anything.
I wouldn't mind it, acquiring Myles Turner just because he's able to spread the floor as well. So if that's the case, they can bring the big man outside and be able to keep Anthony Davis, and they can obviously switch it out. I mean, Anthony Davis can go outside, and Myles Turner can stay inside the paint.
You know what? I just looked now. He's a little bit older than I thought he was. I thought Myles Turner was about 27. He's actually just about to turn 29. That theoretically works well in the Lakers' favor.
Oh, yeah.
Because unless the Pacers think they can turn this ship around pretty damn quick, Myles Turner may be aging out for what they want. Because when they gave him that extension, it was a very short, team-friendly extension. They, I think, thought they were going to be better than they are right now. If he's a possibility, he is somebody that I would feel comfortable extending forward with Anthony Davis. Like, I think he and AD could play off each other really well for the next – I mean, that would be a bleep to score against. Mm-hmm. A back line of Anthony Davis and Myles Turner. I feel like they could complement each other on both sides of the ball.
I totally agree.
Yeah, I mean, he can block shots. He can hit threes. If that is a possibility, I would absolutely be down for that. Let's talk to Kelsey in North Carolina. You're on Lakers Talk. What's up, Kelsey?
Yes, sir, guys. It's great to hear from you. But also, I was thinking about the Myles Turner as well, because think about how Boston is built. Boston has 2 good guys that can handle the ball, which could be LeBron and AD, which you could swap out for Tatum and Brown. But they also have another weapon that can stretch the floor that you have to guard. Even if Turner has an off night, he can have impact like Porzingis on the defensive glass.
I appreciate the call there, Kelsey. Again, you're not going to have to sell me on Myles Turner. I thought a couple of years ago the Lakers made a mistake. If he was truly as gettable as the reports were, and I've heard from people who really attempted to report this thing out, that this was really a possibility for the Lakers. I didn't care as much about the Buddy Hield piece of it, but Myles Turner I was like, you're not going to do better for Russell Westbrook than Myles Turner.
Just $19 million.
I know that is.
You know who makes around that much money?
D'Angelo Russell.
He does.
He does. And I mean, I like D'Lo more than most people, but I know D'Lo is not likely going to be long for this ride with the Lakers. Although it feels like they're going to be doing 1+1 deals with D'Angelo Russell through like 2031. Like this is just going to be going on forever. Like he's like Bill Murray in What About Bob? Like, he's not gone. He's never gone. And then they open the door, and D'Angelo Russell's just standing there. We're in, like, the soft opening period of the trade deadline because December 15th just passed, which meant that most of the free agents who signed last offseason, they are now eligible to be traded. Dennis Schroeder just got moved to the Warriors from the Nets. He was traded along with a second-round pick for DeAnthony Melton, who's out for the season, and 3 second-round picks. So it was basically the price was Melton's expiring contract and 2 seconds. And I know, because I've seen a lot of Laker fans wanting Schroeder 3.0, his third return to the team, wondering why Pelinka couldn't get in on that. In fairness to Rob, I mean, I have no idea how interested the Lakers are or not in Schroeder, but they had the perfect contract for the Nets, Golden State, in DeAnthony Melton because he's expiring and he's not playing. And for a team that needs to get their asses to the bottom of the standings and to try to get into the Cooper Flag sweepstakes, Melton is perfect. Like, expiring cannot help you. He is physically incapable of helping you this year. And the closest contract the Lakers had money-wise to match a Dennis Schroeder's salary would be Gabe Vincent. And Vincent has 1 more year on his contract, so that's going to make him less appealing. That said, though, I think Laker fans should be happy about that deal with the Nets and the Warriors involving Schroeder, just in the sense that the price for Schroeder was not that high. Like, I had heard that the Nets might be interested. You were seeing reports of, a first-round pick for Schroeder because Schroeder's been having a hell of a season. He played really well in Toronto last year as well. He ended up going for a couple seconds. And maybe this could be indicative of the market moving forward with the Nets. If you're talking about, say, Dorian Finney-Smith, Cam Johnson, these are guys that you've heard about 1 first-round pick minimum, maybe 2 first-round picks. Maybe in reality that price ends up going down, again, for the rest of the league or the Lakers specifically. Dorian Finney-Smith, though, and Cam Johnson, obviously, with the Nets, are 2 of the biggest names that have been connected to the Lakers. I would be interested maybe he could be seen as a throw-in, but I think he could be intriguing for the Lakers. Deron Sharp, their young, he's kind of a backup center.
He's a workhorse.
Yeah.
He's a workhorse,
yeah.
man.
Yeah, he's intriguing. He's really athletic. He does not have much of an offensive game, but he's, I think, an intriguing prospect for them.
Yeah, he attacks glass really hard. He's one of those, he's going to give you effort and energy as far as on the rebounding end. That the Lakers kind of sometimes they get out rebounded in certain games.
Sometimes,
yeah, right.
I call those games, DeAndre. The times they're getting out rebounded. I had mentioned before, Nick Richards in Charlotte is somebody that I've been interested in for a while because I think he fits the role perfectly in terms of realistically how much I think any big man you're going to bring in, unless it's somebody of like Myles Turner's level. Most bigs are not going to play past a certain point with AD out there because AD is the best player on this team. And contrary to what AD may want, AD's best at center, I think. Like, I know he'd prefer to be more at the 4. I get it. I'm also reminded of that line from Mad Men, that's what the money's for. Like, sorry, dude, you're getting 40-something mil a year. That's part of the 40-something mil a year is you're playing more center than you want.
Yeah, Nick Richards also has took on a bigger role with the Hornets because of Mark Williams being absent. He's been out with some injuries. So he had to take on that bigger role as far as being the 5. So it'll be interesting to see if the Lakers were to acquire someone like that to move it. It'll be interesting.
Alex in West Covina has a name that he wants to target. What's up, Alex?
Andy, what about Jimmy Butler?
I think
let's go all in. Let's go all in on that guy.
Okay, here's my issues with Jimmy Butler. First of all, if it requires giving up even one first, but two firsts for Jimmy Butler. I'm really not interested in this given his age right now. And also the idea of if he opts out and wants an extension, you have to give Jimmy Butler 2 or 3 years going into like age 37, 38. I have no interest in that, particularly if he wants like the full bag. And all of a sudden, if the Lakers give up one or both of their remaining firsts that they have total control over right now, them feeling like they have to do this with Jimmy Butler, you're basically compounding the issues that you have managing LeBron and to some degree managing AD. Like if you look at the contending teams around the league, most of them have at least one star that is young. I think this is very difficult to, like, look at the issues that Phoenix is having with their three-headed monster, but you've got Durant at this stage of his career, you got Bradley Beal at this stage of his career. Even Devin Booker's not at, I don't know his age off the top of my head, but he's not as young as he used to be.
We can't put the Expendables out here in LA.
I mean, if there's a no, I don't want to do that. I don't. Devin Booker is Devin Booker's 28. So I mean, I guess he's the youngest of the three. Bradley Beal, I mean, I don't even know his age off the top of my head, but to some degree it doesn't matter because he's always hurt. And Durant's in his mid-30s. I feel like you need at least one star in the case of the Lakers who would be under like 32. AD's 31 now. Like we focus so much on LeBron's age, we sometimes forget about AD's. Like AD is still in his prime, but he's on the backside of his prime.
And if they were to try to acquire Jimmy Butler, wouldn't they have to give up like you have to include maybe Austin Reeves, right? You have to include.
Well, I'm not even as high, I think, on Austin as certainly the Lakers are, but I don't want to give up. If I'm bringing in Jimmy Butler and I'm taking on that contract and whatever, I'm trying to send out as many expendable players as possible. I mean, it'd be like probably D'Lo. I think you have to give up Rui just to make the money work. Mm-hmm. They're not going to. I mean, I can't imagine they're going to take Jared Vanderbilt until you have evidence of him being a useful player on an NBA court. So, I mean, Jimmy's making, I want to say 40. Let me look him up right now. Jimmy Butler is making, he's in the mid 40s this season, and I want to say his contract next year that he will reportedly opt out of, but it's a 52, 53, something like that. That's a lot of managing. Jimmy Butler's making almost 49. So you're going to have to send out D'Lo. You're going to have to send out Rui. Probably have to send out Gabe. None of whom are going to be players that the Heat are going to be particularly interested in, which means you're going to have to attach a first. Might have to attach a second. I don't think the Lakers would do this if it means giving up Austin Reeves. I don't think they do it if it means giving up Connect. I just don't want to deal with the prospect of managing 3 aging players moving forward, because at that point, Anthony Davis becomes aging. I want to try to find somebody that feels like they can actually grow with the team, not like, one last dance, like one last hurrah.